What is the fastest way to develop youth players and get huge loan boosts? Well, in today's video, I'll be showing you what I do to develop my youth players the quickest way and make sure they get some hefty loan boosts to their overall rating. Now, I know FC25 is coming to the end soon, but I'm pretty sure this will work in the next game too. But let's jump straight in. So here's my AFC Wimbledon career save. I've saved up some very high potential youth players in the academy, which is vital for this first step. If you've not watched my video on how to guarantee high potential youth players, then give it a quick watch to get an understanding, then jump back to this video so you're ready to go. Alright, so here's the 4 players I'm talking about. Let's take the goalkeeper out the equation, because he's just there so I can play the youth tournaments. So, De Silva, Belghazi, Ambrose and Birch all have a potential rating of either 97 or 98. I'll quickly show you that by going into a youth game. This is where you want to have your youth tournaments set to full potential in the settings, to see what potential your youth players will get to, providing they get the proper game time. So as you can see, Ambrose has a 98 potential, and the rest of the outfield players all have 97. It's up to you if you want to play the youth games. I personally do, just to cut their level up time down by a week after every youth game win. So the first step is done, we have our high potential players. Now all I want you to do is just keep them in your academy, don't promote them yet. Just carry on playing through your career save and wait until you get the youth player unsettled message from the board. So that's the message you have to wait for before promoting your players. Now whilst I was waiting for these messages from the 4 players, I just carried on with my career save. But I already had 3 players in my squad, promoted from the youth academy, that have already gone through the process I've been telling you about. So let's use these 3 players for our example, whilst we wait for the youth player unsettled message from Ambrose, Birch, Belghazi and De Silva. So first up is Cook. All these players I'm about to show have never played a game for me and are freshly promoted to my squad after I received their unsettled notification. Now take a look at his status. This is the status you want to see. Has potential to be special. This is the indication that a player has high potential and is on track for maximum growth. So the next step is to send him out on loan, because at the moment he's nowhere near good enough for my starting 11 and his potential is just going to drop if he sits in the reserves all the time. So loaning youth players is the only option to guarantee that they stay on track to keep their high potential, unless you are doing a youth only career save where he starts every game. So Cook's up for loan, and we can do the exact same for Roberts. He also has the status of has potential to be special. So with both up for loan, the last player we need to look at is Gilbert. I can't remember exactly what potential rating these players were, but they would have been similar to the other 4 at the start of the video, so 96 to 98 rated. So yeah, here's Gilbert. His status has dropped to exciting prospect. This status is one below has potential to be special. This is exactly what happens if your youth players sit around and don't get game time. Their potential drops quick, so it's vital they are getting game time. In this case, he needs to go out on loan ASAP to revive his high potential. Gilbert's status has dropped because his unsettled message came a few months before Cook's and Roberts, so he's had longer to sit around and do nothing whilst I wait for the transfer window to open. But don't worry, if your player does drop down to exciting prospect, I'll show you how we get back up to a status of has potential to be special. So like Cook and Roberts, I put Gilbert up for loan. Now we just wait for loan offers to come in. And in my experience, it doesn't matter what length you send your players out for loan, 1 or 2 years is usually fine. I just go for 1, as we will be recalling them back anyways after a year. So first out the door is Gilbert. This is good because it gives me a chance to show you how to bump his status back up to has potential to be special. Now that he's out on loan, from here you want to save your game. This is because we're going to be recalling Gilbert back straight away, so if we save prior to recalling him, then if we don't boost his status back up to has potential to be special, then we can just reload the save and try again until his status goes up. So now that we've saved our game, we can head back over to Squad Hub and recall him from his loan. Alright, so as you can see, his status remained at exciting prospect, not what we want. He did however get an instant +4 on his overall, small boost, but still nowhere near first team quality. So from here, just back out of your game to the main menu. Then simply hit Continue Manager Career to enable us to load straight back into the point before we recalled our player. Now head straight back to the Squad Hub and we repeat this process until Gilbert gets his status back up to has potential to be special. It usually doesn't take long. Again, his status hasn't changed, although he did gain +5 on his overall instead of 4 last time. So it shows reloading a save and recalling players does provide different outcomes, keep that in mind. But let's try again, and hopefully this will be third time lucky. Let me speed this up for you. Sorry, I know it's boring, but I just want to show you the truthful time frame it takes for this process. Okay, finally we get his status boost. He's now at a potential to be special, and gained a hefty +7 on his overall rating. This shows you the importance of having that potential to be special status. So for many of you, this boost in overall might just be enough to put your players into your starting squad. I don't know, but for me, he still isn't going to get game time. So in order for him to keep his status and potential high, I will send him back out on loan for the whole season. I would also suggest doing this process in the summer window so you get more time, rather than the January window. So with Gilbert loan listed again, let's check in on Cook and Roberts. Okay, so for his first loan, Roberts is going out to Midget Land or whatever they're called. So just like Gilbert, I'm going to try and get an instant boost in overall because he has the potential to be special status already. So I save my game again in case he gets recalled and his status drops, which of course we don't want. Now what I will say about loaning youth players out, especially early on in their development, is that they become a much more well-rounded player quicker than if you were to use them in your team yourself, because that overall boost you get from loaning the player actually boosts all their stats, the same way as you would get from a balanced development plan, which as you know takes ages to level up a player on a balanced plan. And as you can see, Roberts has kept hold of his has potential to be special status, and like Gilbert, he has gained a nice +7 in overall, and most importantly, no need to reload the save. So again, for my team, he isn't going to get first team minutes, so I'll send him back out on loan for the season. Okay, now time for Cook's first loan move. He's off to QPR, and the same process applies. Save your game, then recall your player to get the initial boost in overall. And lucky for me, he's kept his status to has potential to be special, which means no reloading the save. Again, like the others, he's gained an instant +7 before the season's even begun. Like the other two, he will also be sent back out on loan for the season. Now quickly, I also need to point out that in the settings before a save, my development for senior and youth players are set to normal. So if you have them set to fast, you may get even bigger loan boosts. I've not tested that theory, but have a crack at it and let me know in the comments if that setting does have any impact on loan boosts. Right, so that was Roberts, Gilbert and Cook all going out for their second loan spell. This time I'm leaving them be, but we'll check up on them at the end of the year, in December, because that is usually when they will get another small boost in overall. So feel free to just play through your career save or sim to the 31st of December. For my case, I played the games because I didn't want to miss any messages about youth players being unsettled and run the risk of them terminating their contract without any knowledge. So yeah, I'll skip to December and show you their updates. Alright, so New Year's Eve, let's see if we can celebrate with some overall boosts. Usually it's nothing crazy, but at least being out on loan keeps them playing and keeps their potential high. So Cook has gained another +2 to his overall, very nice. That's now a +9 altogether in just 5 months. And it's the same story for Roberts. He's gained +2 to his overall and 9 altogether. Both players very close to 80 rated and that all important playstyle plus. Same goes for Gilbert. All three players have gained a +2 overall on their second loan spell and a +9 overall altogether. Some of you may even want to recall your players now in just half a season. But for the video, I'll skip to the end of the season to see their final results. However, I got to March, and this is where I got the message that Bulgazi was unsettled and wants to be promoted. So like I said at the start of the video, this is the message you want to wait for. So just go ahead and promote the player. Don't worry if you're far away from a transfer window. If you've got a high potential player, then their potential won't drop. Well, nothing drastically. All that might happen is what happened to Gilbert, where his status dropped to exciting prospect, and I've shown you how to boost it back up to has potential to be special. So you're all good. But for Bulgazi, he will be chilling in the reserves until the summer transfer window. And then I got to May, and the other three whingy gits were moaning to be promoted. But to be honest, I was glad they wanted to be promoted right at the end of the season, which means they can go out on loan in just a couple of months' time. So I'll promote these three players, and next season they can go through the same process as Cook, Roberts and Gilbert have been through this season. Ignore Bennett, he's just a random player in there, so that I had enough players to play the youth tournaments. So now, with the players from the start of the video promoted to the senior squad, let's finally jump to the end of the season and check on Cook, Roberts and Gilbert. Okay, so end of season 1, make sure you stop simming on the 29th of June so that you can still access the menus, because on the 30th you only get the option to check tables or proceed to the next season. So you can see Cook and Roberts have gained another one overall. That takes Roberts to 80 rated, and he'll get a playstyle plus as soon as I recall him. Same goes for Gilbert. Now don't rush to recall them like I've done here. Be sensible and save your game before recalling them. 2 reasons. One is so that you can reload the save if you don't get given the playstyle plus you want, so you can keep reloading the game until you get the one you want. That's if your players are 80 rated and above like Gilbert and Roberts. And 2, their status might dip to exciting prospect, so you may have to reload the save. If that happens, reload the save until it stays at has potential to be special. But for most cases, the status does remain the same. Now when I recalled Cook, he actually gained another +1 in overall, taking his total to +11 altogether, which is pretty nuts. He could easily be my backup left back for my team next season now. Maybe a starter in your case. But unfortunately, because I recalled him when he was 79 rated, even though he went to 80 rated, it meant he didn't get a playstyle plus. But to give him a playstyle plus, all I would have to do is send him back out on loan, recall him straight back, and then that is when he will receive his playstyle plus. Anyways, now for Roberts, he will definitely get a playstyle plus because he's already 80 rated, so he will receive one upon recalling him. So let's go ahead and recall him and see which playstyle turns to gold. Bruiser plus, I'll definitely take that. He gained another +1 overall as well, matching Cook's +11 altogether. So there we go. All in all, a very successful loan spell from all 3 high potential youth players. This method goes to show that a youth player can go from just a prospect to a possible starter in your team in just a matter of 1 season, just from loaning. But let's jump to the next season and loan our freshly promoted youth players out. So before I do loan them all out, I just want to show you the importance of having your players at the has potential to be special status. So to showcase this, I'm going to be focusing on Belghazi because his status has dropped down to exciting prospect. So let me loan him out, and I'm going to sim to the end of the season to show you the lack of development. Okay, so as you can see, we're at the end of the season. Let's recall Belghazi. So yeah, just the +4 to his overall. Of course, he's still gained ratings because he's young, but we've definitely not helped his potential and have probably hurt his ability to grow fast for the next season. But how would have his loan spell have ended if he did have the has potential to be special status? Well, let's take a look. So before sending him out on loan for the season, we need to bump up his status to has potential to be special. So like Gilbert previously, we need to give him a quick loan spell before his season-long loan. If you're wondering how I'm able to go back a season to retry things, I use checkpoints before I start another season, so that if anything goes wrong during the season, I can always load up a checkpoint to be safe. So let's throw him up for loan and attempt to bump up his status. Alright, so he's back at Ipswich again. On his first spell, let's recall him. And again he stays at exciting prospect. Definitely not what we want, so by now you should know what we have to do. Back out and just try again. I know it can be boring and frustrating, but it's definitely worth being patient, getting your player's status up to potential to be special, and getting extra gains to their overall and keeping them on track to reaching their full potential. So let's recall him again, and hopefully we can see a change to his status. Bingo. He's gained a quick +4, which already matches the same overall increase he made in the whole season, being an exciting prospect player. But more importantly, he's back on track to reach his full potential at the quickest speed. So now, all we have to do is send him back out on loan for the season. I'll sim the season again, and come back to you with the results. Okay, so he did gain another 3 ratings on that second loan spell, giving him a total of +7 ratings over the course of the season, which is nearly double the ratings, then leaving him on exciting prospect, so it's definitely worth bumping your player's status to has potential to be special. He did also get a lovely little finesse shot plus, and he did keep his status at potential to be special. But again, make sure to save your game before recalling your players so you can have the option to change a playstyle plus. Or, if their status drops, so you can keep reloading until their status is back to potential to be special. But enough with Belghazi, let's move on to the other 3 youth graduates, Birch, Ambrose and De Silva. So unlike previously, I'm just going to send the 3 players out on loan, just the once. I sent Cook and Roberts out twice because I wanted to show you that they do get an initial boost when recalling from their first loan spell, and that you may be satisfied with that boost and want to put them in your starting 11. But in my case, Ambrose, Birch and De Silva are nowhere near my starting 11, so throwing them on loan for a season is the right way to go. Now in terms of what teams to loan your players out to, I actually think that my players grow faster at clubs from a different league than what you're in, and clubs which are usually mid to lower in the table of that league. So like I said, Because all 3 players already have the potential to be special status, I'll leave them out on loan, sim the season, and come back to you with the results. Okay then, Ambrose gets the +8, not on the levels as Cook and Roberts, probably because Ambrose is a year younger than them when they went out on loan. De Silva gets a +9, and Birch gets a +8, but these 2 players were higher rated to begin with compared to Cook, Roberts and Gilbert, so that comes into the equation. But 8s and 9s are still brilliant increases in overall for just one season's work. Now there is one last thing I want to show you guys in determining how well a player's loan spell has been, and that is changes in their value. So if we scroll over to the financial tab, you'll see their market value and a percentage value next to it. So after recalling a player, sometimes their value can change, it can decrease, and the percentage goes into red, like I'll show you in a minute. That means the loan hasn't actually been successful and that their potential is dropping. If it stays on 0% and in the green still, it means their loan was successful and progress to meet their full potential is still on the right track. And better yet, sometimes a player's percentage will go up, which also gives a player another +1 to their rating, which I'll show in a sec. But first let's call back Ambrose. So firstly, his status has remained the same at potential to be special, which is 1 positive. But if we scroll along, you can see that his market value has gone down and the percentage is now in the red. Now this isn't a massive deal if you are planning on putting your player in your starting 11 for the next season, because for this example, Ambrose still has the potential to be special status, so if I were to start him most games and score goals with him, then come this time next season, his value will shoot back up. But for me, Ambrose still isn't high enough rated for my squad, so chances are he will be going back out on loan next season. But to make sure he will have all the tools to have another successful loan, then we need to get him back into the green. So again, always save your game before recalling a player from their loan spell so you can keep retrying to change outcomes. In my case, I'll reload the save until Ambrose is either back at 0% or higher. I'll skip to it because it could take a while, but I'll be truthful to you on how many tries it has took me. Okay, so this was actually my 3rd attempt of changing his value, and you'll notice his rating actually went up 1, so this does indicate that his market value percentage has gone up beyond 0%. This also indicates that he has totally maxed out what he could achieve in one season of growth. In regards to De Silva and Birch, I tried over 10 times for each, but couldn't budge from 0%, so it looks like for them that 0% is the highest they can achieve, and that they have already reached their max rating for this season. But yeah, if you guys can't seem to get past 0% within 10 retries, then the likelihood is that they've maxed out their rating for that season, so stick with the 0%. So that is that from me, and how I grow my youth players quickly with loan tactics. Like I said at the start, I know it's nearly time for FC26, but this will no doubt apply for that game too. Get your questions in the comment section, and I'll be happy to help. I'm also interested to hear any success you get from this guide, or any inputs and tweaks you can think of. Please drop a like on the video if this guide did help you. Please consider subscribing if you're new to my channel. Thanks for watching, I'll catch you in the next one.